Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I'm doing okay. I lost track of time. I was coloring. I was coloring and I lost track of time. And I had to have lunch real fast, so I didn't get the lunch I was looking forward to. Now I just have dinner to look forward to. I think I know what I'm going to get. um, I don't have any reality roundup today because I'm lazy and watch the Olympics. Oh, shoot. We got to do medal count, don't we? Here we go. Okay, we have jumped up to third place in the medal count. So that's nice. I'm US, so that's what I care about. Norway's in first with 13 medals. Switzerland has 7 and the US has 10, but less gold medals. So I guess that puts us in third place, not second place. Because I guess only gold medals count. What? No, that's not how that works. A medal is a medal. Unless you're counting by. No, even then, I think we would. If you add a gold medal's 3, a silver's 2, and a bronze is 1, I still think we'd be in second. um, I haven't watched anything where we won a gold medal in the last day, so we'll have to see. I still have to watch the fourth. What's that called? Curling is in my mind. We won a silver medal in curling, which is good for us. I mean, I don't think a woman has ever won a medal in curling. I think that's what I heard. Could be wrong about that. Um, but I know we did well in luge. That's what it's called. Women's luge. We won some kind of medal, and we haven't won a medal in that in like forever, if ever. So doing good. Yeah, I'm concentrating on women's sports, so sue me. I don't care. I did show the littles the luge the other day. The 4-year-old WB says that looks scary. I don't think I could do that. I guess stick to the martial arts and the wrestling, honey. You're fine. He's so cute. He's gonna do a wrestling tournament soon, apparently. So we'll have to go for that. We'll have to go to that. He could do 2, but his mom's only signing him up for 1, which is fine. That's enough for a 4-year-old, I think. I think 1 tournament a year is enough for a 4-year-old. They go really late though. His practices are till 8 o'clock at night. Like he's 4. Kids need 12 hours of sleep minimum. Why are you keeping these little kids up till 10 o'clock at night? It's insane. Like, cause you can't just come home and put them in bed. They have to have a shower after that because the mats are nasty. You can get all kinds of diseases from them. My best friend's kid did wrestling and he got ringworm from the wrestling mats at school. So yeah, you can get diseases from those mats. So you do not want to come home and just go to bed because then you contaminate your bed and yourself. So yeah, definitely on track to the definitely like shower after you wrestle for sure. Or anything else that uses a mat in gym. Uses a gym mat. um we ended up having the little one last night because mommy was in martial arts and the 4-year-old wanted to go with her. She said he was their mascot and cheerleader. Good job, guys. You're doing great. He's so cute. And the little one was tired. He was so tired. He didn't fall asleep before mom got there, but I'm sure he fell asleep in the car on the way home. So yeah, that was our day yesterday. Late night with the babies. After the second late night with the babies. And it's fine. I love them. I'll do anything for them. It's what we're there for. That's what grandparents are for, is to fill in the gaps when the parents are busy. My son's working nights, so he can't. Normally, he would have the kids when she was doing her thing, but right now he's has to work nights because where he's working, they're actually doing business during the day, so he can't work there during the day, so he has to do nights. So that's fun. Yeah, construction works nights sometimes. Just so you know. Okay. I guess reads then. I don't have any reality roundup because I didn't watch anything. And if it's the last, if it's the talking head last interview ones, I'm going to do those all in a group. Make sure I do those all in a group. So there'll be 1 week of that. I believe there's 4 of them, so that'll do a good week. My plans got canceled again for Saturday, just like last week. Fun. It's always the same family too. Alrighty, this is from Malicious Compliance, and it is entitled FAFO regarding performance review. This is a repost from Anti-Work. Not sure how to do reposts here. Not sure if there's any compliance, but certainly there was maliciousness on my side. I work in an international corporation. Our performance is rated yearly on a scale that goes bad, average, good, high, outstanding. The last 2 give you yearly bonus, and there's literally no different in the amount you get paid, but an extra minor non-monetary recognition for the last. With my previous boss, I had an agreement. I would do my job and cover for him as deputy for vacation, simultaneous meetings, etc. And he would do his best, so I got the high performance rating every year. Be aware that I've never missed a deadline, covered all tasks. I did earn the high performance every year for 4 years. My boss left in August, and I was foisted on a new guy. I showed the new guy what I was doing, my job and deputy tasks. He agreed that I should continue to do those. On December 2025, for the yearly performance, this guy rates me good, so no bonus. I told him that is our internal metric of high performance. His reply was that he had not seen me work. He had higher expectations, therefore he couldn't rate me higher. You gotta love managers like this. Jerk. Very well. Immediately after that, I canceled every meeting that had me as my former boss's replacement and sent several emails, I presume emails, to HR and other stakeholders forfeiting the extra responsibilities. HR replied confirming that those tasks are not part of my role. Nothing much happened given that the holidays were upon us. New boss started this week as his plate full of stuff that my former boss did and I covered for, and another team's request for guidance of what to do that my ex-boss and I occasionally answered. One of the guys that I handed over tasks to, Jerry, has a background that is more managerial than operations. He's the one that ended up with most of the things my old boss, and by extension, I was doing. Due to January being a slow month for us and taking days off, nothing much happened until this Wednesday morning. This Wednesday, a regional up-and-coming big shot reported a problem with one of the things that our area as a whole handles. This thing is not in my narrow specialty, but it is one of the things that I would have tackled as my boss's deputy. Ignore that. That was the washer. For some reason, it is not working right, and I had to re-rinse clothes, and I'm hoping that they spun this time, and it sounded like they might have. Not sure. Yeah, I need a new washer and dryer desperately. It is a very weird situation as only one singular thing is failing and everything else that involves the same machinery, people, services, IT, etc. works as usual. No modifications whatsoever done during the whole of January, so it is puzzling. I see people calling for help in a war room to find out the issue. Curious, I enter and I could see the relief on people's faces as they are used to me taking charge of similar things in the past. I asked a couple of questions due to pure morbid curiosity and knowing where this issue might be happening. I tell the people, well, based on the things you have said, we can ignore XYZ as cause. The problems are either M component or N component. Unfortunately, as it is not my area of expertise, I cannot offer further aid. Please reach out to me again if my team is needed. But you can see the disappointment on their face was totally understandable. They summon Jerry once I'm gone and they start troubleshooting. Whole Wednesday passes, no solution. People going until very late at night. Thursday starts with the team early working on it. At some point, the call my new boss is at Newco and his team as his and his team. Shut up, Dell. Okay. They summon Jerry once I'm gone and they start troubleshooting. One whole Wednesday passes, no solution. And people are going until very late in the night. Thursday starts with the team early working on it, and at some point they call my old boss at Newco and his team as we have some TSA going on, transition service agreement going on. Eventually, my old boss informs that they did change their IT services in December, which they had informed us, and for some reason we only saw the effect on Wednesday. This involves N component, highlighted in the previous paragraph. Of course, even though Jerry was informed of all this, he couldn't do more as he lacked expertise. But the guys at Newco did something on their side, and presto, all fixed. Problem solved, everybody's happy, right? Nope, as the reporting guy raised a fuss saying that everything is topsy-turvy since the split, and they need to work on things as usual. Be aware that Jerry's not a bad guy. These things are simply not his area of expertise. After the issue, Jerry comes to me asking if I can do this technical stuff again in his place, and I transparently say that since I'm not getting paid for it, I'm not going to do anything beyond my scope. I have too much on my plate as it is. The week has ended, and the guy that raised the alarm is asking for internal changes. And before everyone asks, he is somewhat important, but not that important, that due to his demands, they will give me a manager role, nor will they give me tasks again. There's a clear definition of roles now. I got that in writing. However, I do expect to see some requests starting next week regarding what old boss did. It is unfortunate that I am going to go on a short leave. If new boss asks me to take those things, I will reply that since the activities did not allow me time to fulfill his expectations, I had taken to heart his words with HR's blessing and immediately started releasing my schedule from things that were not clearly not my scope. Okay, good. If you're not getting paid for it, uh, don't do it. Work your wage. Work your wage. Harry says it's an interesting cycle where someone goes above and beyond, is recognized for it, and continues to do so. Something changes in the hierarchy, and the recognition vanishes. The person who decides to act their wage and excrement impacts the air movement device. Crap hits the fan. And there are surprised Pikachu faces all around. Um, Somebody is also a higher rated comment. It says, I can see being malicious. Boss A always gave OP high performance reviews, and OP covered Boss A's butt when there were scheduling conflicts, vacations, etc. Boss B comes in and says, keep doing what you're doing, but then only gives a good performance review because I haven't seen you work. So OP says, okay, then I'm only doing my own work from now on. The CYA they did for Boss A won't be done for Boss B. So yes, I would say that OP complied maliciously. Yeah, I agree. OP did comply maliciously. See where it got? He may not get his money, but his boss certainly got what he deserved. This is from Evil Buildings, and it is entitled The Long Range Discrimination Radar Clear Space Force Station in Alaska. Yeah, it could look kind of evil. A little evil. Slightly evil. The whole perimeter thing is weird. Is that so you can't leave? That's so you can't leave when there's a snowstorm? um, Nebulix says is way bigger than it looks in this picture. Pay attention to how tiny the large heavy duty equipment truck looks in the background. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'll put it on backup. See the heavy duty trucks back here? They're not that far away really, but they're tiny. They do be tiny. Um They're saying it's probably 80 plus feet tall. All right, next we have AITAH, and it is entitled AITAH for telling my husband to go stay in a hotel with my in laws and that my mom is going to come back to help me with the baby. So I, 28 female, had just had my husband, 31 male, and I's first child 7 weeks ago. I think all you had to say was I had. So I just had my husband and I's. It's a weird sentence. I think I would have switched it around. Anyway, ignore me. We're having that kind of day. I had a scheduled induction, so my mom came 2 days before I was induced to stay with us for the first 6 weeks. She just left last week. She was originally going to stay just for 2 weeks after I gave birth, but she stayed longer because my recovery has been difficult and I just needed the extra help. My in laws wanted to come visit as soon as the baby was born as well, but they did not want to stay in a hotel, and we have a small house with no guest room. And my mother was sleeping on a pull out bed in our living room. So, no, you can't stay here. My mommy's staying here. I'm the person who gave birth. I get my mommy here. You can go stay in a hotel. So there was no space for anyone else, and they decided not to come visit until my mother left. They arrived 3 days ago, and it has not gone well. Last night, my mother in law got very upset with me and told me I was ruining her experience as a first time grandma and hogging the baby and her son after she had to wait weeks and weeks to meet the baby. It's her baby. She gets to hog it. The background here is that the baby is cluster feeding for the last few days, and I do not feel comfortable breastfeeding in front of my in laws. Okay, you need to get over that uncomfortableness because that's just going to ruin your whole relationship with food, with feeding the baby. Um, Openly feed the baby. It's fine. It is fine. This is a problem with you that I think you should work on because the more people are exposed to breastfeeding, the more comfortable they get with it. So I think you should make it at least make an effort. So she keeps taking the baby back to the bedroom to feed him. And it makes her hungry and thirsty. So I keep asking my husband to bring me snacks and water. Of course it does. Especially when they're cluster feeding like that because they're having a growth spurt. It they're wanting to eat all the time. That's why you just sit on the couch and feed them because it's so much easier. I try to bring the baby out to interact with my in-laws when he stops feeding for a few minutes, but it's very aggravating to keep covering up and going downstairs just for the baby to cry minutes later and want to feed again. And my mother-in-law keeps rolling her eyes and getting annoyed each time. So feed her in front of her. As I said, he had to feed again and go back upstairs. And she kept being like, he can't be hungry, he just ate. And she thinks I don't want to let her hold him or play with him. And when I ask my husband to bring me snacks and stuff, she's huffing and saying things like, oh, Phil and I will just sit here by ourselves. She's not offered any help in the way my mother did. My mother would cook for us like every day. She would take over the baby care for the night when she was staying here and would just bring him to me to nurse, but she would burp and change him and get him back to sleep for me around 2 nights a week, and it was a lifesaver. Yeah, that would be wonderful for have somebody to go get the baby for you and bring it back and feed you. Awesome. That's exactly why mommy was there, not mother-in-law. I told my husband I felt this way after his mom yelled at me last night, and he told me his mom isn't there to help me the way my mom was because she's not my mom and she's there to meet her grandson. And he wanted to spend time the next few days introducing his child to his parents, not making me snacks and then sitting around watching TV with his parents, waiting for me to finish breastfeeding so they can see the baby. Well, wham, wham, wham. You have a 6 week old baby. That's what's going to happen. That's literally the time for the first uh, big growth spurt they have. He told me he's been looking forward to his parents meeting the baby since birth, and honestly, they probably should have showed up for a day. If they wanted to see the baby that badly, they could have come and seen the baby and left. That's what I did when my grandkids were born. Went, saw the baby, left. Tell them if you need some help, give me a ring. I'm here. I told him to feel I told him I feel like I don't know how to please anyone because I can't just not feed my son. I don't want to be miserable and hungry and thirsty when I'm breastfeeding, and I really don't want to think this make me a snack plate and filling up my water bottle takes that long and is taking away much time my in-laws could be spending with my husband. And he's the only person I can ask to do it because my mom left now, so he needs me to help me. Although, you could ask your in-laws to do that for you too. Just saying. Get them a little bit involved can go a long way. I exploded at him and told him they can all just leave and get a hotel room and my mom can come back to help me because at least she does the things to help me and doesn't shame me for trying to breastfeed. He told me he couldn't believe I would say that and I knew his parents didn't like hotels, but they would go stay in one then they all went and got rooms at the Holiday Inn in our town. And I spent the night alone with the baby for the first time and got no sleep. I called my mom crying and she's on her way back to help me now. But I feel like I might have made a huge mistake by telling them to leave. But I felt like I was going to scream and I just wanted my mom to come back. He has not texted or called me to check on the baby at all since I left last night. AITAH for telling them to go on a high school. You're an asshole to yourself for not breastfeeding in front of people, to be honest. Re- Relative fortune is the highest comment. It says cluster feeding happens. It relates to growth milestones. It is tough. Can be. I remember when my son did it. He ate for 45 minutes and less than half an hour later he was crying and rooting again. I burst into tears saying he can't be hungry again. Oh yes he can. Fortunately my sister-in-law was visiting that day and experienced peds nurse and told me about cluster feeding and after that 3 or 4 days it would be better. Your baby is not a doll and your husband and in-laws are ignorant selfish twats. No carb is the second highest rated comment, and it says, NTA, your husband is a selfish twat. He just created and birthed an entire new human, and he thinks that all this time is about him wanting his parents to meet the kid. Are you wanging kidding? His only concerns on earth now should be for your baby and for you. He should not be giving one flight wang about his parents, how they feel, or how much time they're getting with the baby. Like, don't plan a visit 6 weeks after the baby's born because the baby will just want to eat the whole time. That's what they're made for. If they are not going to help, they can get the wang out. In fact, your husband left you alone with a newborn while you're recovering to go with his parents would be a divorceable act for me personally. I don't think I would be able to trust that person ever again, especially not in the most vulnerable moments of my life. With my third, I don't even know how I did it. I honestly do not even know because my husband stayed home for a week the first two, but he didn't the third one. I don't know why. And I had a 3-year-old or no, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. How did I do that? I don't even know how I did that. Um, this one is on Found Satan and it is entitled Evil on Several Levels. Um, and it is a screenshot. It says, what made you realize your girlfriend isn't the one of you? She cooked all of my food without spices to make me think I had COVID, so I wouldn't go anywhere. Oh, that's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, don't marry that person. That person's not good. Ross Stick says boss level gaslighting right there. Gingerbread Mac man says, dang, she going for evil level. And never drops in says, my stepson's girlfriend tried to make a game of tried to game a pregnancy test with a felt tip pen. And Kenny says, not X. And she says, well, yeah, he wised up. Wow. That is wild. Don't let people do that to you. That's a red flag for sure. That is a red flag. No spices in the food, red flag. It's kind of funny though. Sorry, I kind of cracked me up. But yeah, no, that person's not a safe person. Just know Mill. Happy update. Mill put her put in her place a Christmas gift for me. Okay, this is an update, so we're gonna try and go to the original. Yeah, okay. All right. I don't think we've seen this one. No, we definitely have not read this one. Um, so this was originally entitled I Thought I Was Ready to Be Around Her, but I Was Wrong. For Thanksgiving, my husband wanted to go visit his family for a bit, and his mom was there. I posted a couple of days ago about how Mill tried plotting behind my back and get custody of my child. When she told my husband her plan, he laughed in her face and told her to wang off. That was about 2 months ago. I haven't been around her since. I get physically sick every time we're in the same room, but for the sake of my husband and his grandparents, I said I would attempt to visit and not make it awkward. Their Thanksgiving was canceled anyway because of mine and my mother in law's drama, so I didn't have to stay long. I truly thought that I had it, but I didn't. I sat in the corners seething. Every time I heard her stupid laugh, my blood would run ice cold. I have such a bodily reaction to her voice. I just feel so deeply uncomfortable and angry. Just knowing that if, God forbid, my husband did say yes to her plan, she would have actively been plotting to take my child behind my back by playing nice to my face. Yeah, this is evil red flag mother-in-law. Such vile, evil human. I want her 100% out of my life. I don't think I'll be happy until I never have to see her face again. Everyone keeps telling me, but she's family and family says stupid stuff sometimes. No, no, plotting to take someone's child is way beyond stupid saying stupid stuff. Way beyond. What she did was truly vile, evil, and disgusting, and I will never forgive her. Never. I work hard to be the best version of myself every day for my child. I don't spank. I don't even yell at my child. I'm a good mom, and I know it. She wasn't. She was a terrible mom, and all of her children have tons of emotional trauma for her. She's a racist, sexist pig. Anyone else have physical reactions to their mother-in-law when they're in the same room? How do you manage? Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we'll go to the update. Um, Last time I posted, I was in a hole, stuck, and not knowing how to move forward. My mother-in-law had tried convincing my husband to join forces with her, telling my husband, "You should secretly record your arguments with OP so we can take her to court for full custody of your daughter." But they're married. I'm confused. My husband instantly called me and told me what she said, and I barely talked to her since. I was in a hole because mother-in-law was helping me watch my child while I was in school, and I was so scared I would have to drop out because my entire heart and soul was screaming at me to not leave my her alone with my daughter ever again. Yeah, I mean, if she's plotting to take the kid, she could take off with the kid while you're at school. So yeah, you have every right to be scared. All the daycares in my area were full. She was on the waiting list for months, and she's still on the waiting list, but I finally been able to figure out some alternate childcare. My mill delusionally thought I was desperate and would be unable to find someone else to watch her, but I put my mind to something. I will figure it out. So long story short, I sent my mill a text basically saying, "You suck. My baby keeps coming home with a diaper rash. I try to set rules and boundaries, and you either completely ignore me or tell me to get over myself, and I'm done with your BS." I wonder how old the kid is. She doesn't say. "Someone else will be watching my baby while I'm in school. This is literally all of your own doing." She flipped the wang out, bawling, to asking my husband, "Why me? Why am I being punished? Because you deserve it?" Telling my husband that it's taken everything in her not to tell me exactly how she feels about me. Just making herself into the biggest victim, just solidifying that I made the right decision. She lives on some property as my husband's grandparent, and I love them, so we went for a visit yesterday. His grandma sat me down and was like, "You 100% did the right thing. She's been using the excuse that she's watching your child so she doesn't get a real job. She's 52, no job, no savings, and her 24-year-old son and his girlfriend have been leeching off of her. I don't They don't have a job and they aren't going to school. Her life is a mess. Your daughter doesn't need to be around that. Not just that, but she had these grand plans of homeschooling your baby full time, which was never talked about with me. Also shows that she was wanting custody with her own agenda. And she was really starting to act like your baby was her child and it was throwing us off. So I'm feeling good today. I showed them that I'm not a pushover and she no longer has access to my child. Wang you, mother in law, you really tried and you failed. Weight has been lifted off my chest that has been there for months because of her. I encourage anyone who is thinking of involving mother in law and child care, do not do it unless you 100% trust her and know she's not going to do anything snaky. Maybe she means sneaky. I don't know. It says snaky. Even the best mother in laws can turn toxic at the drop of a hat. We used to get along. Once your child is involved, a whole different ballgame. I don't think that unless your mother in law has done something to make you not trust them, I think you should trust them implicitly. Most of them are just people, just like you. Some of them, you should know ahead of time what kind of person they are, or shortly after. I would never do this to my daughter in law. And anything could happen, and I wouldn't do that because they're not my kids. They're not my kids, and I don't need custody of them. She would have to like be a drug addict or something equally as bad. You know, the state would have to decide it before I would take them, and I wouldn't take them away from her. The state would take them away from her, and I'm one of the few people she would probably trust with them, even if that happened. Oh, the top comment is from Character River, and it says, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. The diaper rash would have sent me over the edge. How in the world did she think she would get custody when she neglects your baby and lets baby get a diaper rash? Diaper rashes happen sometimes. Don't be so. If it happens all the time, that's different. But diaper rashes happen. Every parent's gonna have a diaper rash sooner or later. It's just something that happens. She's unfit. Good for you to get her out of the house. Something's gonna happen, and that person's kid's gonna get a diaper rash, and then they're gonna feel really bad about themselves. And they shouldn't because it's not something that you should feel bad about. My grandsons have come to me with diaper rashes because, you know, parents aren't perfect either. Next is from Petty Revenge, and it is entitled Defeating Inconsiderate Neighbor with the Power of Girly Music and Scents. Scents as in SCENT, like aromas, not like monies. I firmly believe in giving someone a taste of their own medicine when they're being a dick. We all know stories of loud, rude neighbors, especially in apartment buildings. I will literally never understand why someone would be so inconsiderate, but you know what? At this point, I don't care anymore. I spent a lot of time trying to be quiet despite people being loud and rude, and I've absolutely had it and decided to do something about it. I will be loud back, and I guarantee you will not like it. The person above me was your stereotypical alpha male kind of guy. Ugh, alpha males are the worst. I'm the only one that matters kind of energy. He drove a loud car that he just had to have leave idling for 10 minutes so everyone can hear it. It's annoying. It's the most annoying noise. He considered about spaces and didn't care if he bothered people. He also blasted music at night when others slept, and you could feel the vibrations. It was a nightmare, and despite us talking to him, he kept doing it. We even mentioned it to our building manager, but nothing happened. So I did what any rational person would do. I started blasting Taylor Swift aimed at the ceiling as well as out the window when he would come home to his loudly idling car. The whole night it was just Taylor Swift and nothing else. Oh, you're manly? I think this is my daughter. Walk through the halls smelling of strawberry pound cake from Bath and Body Works. If you want us to suffer putting up with your crap, you can put up suffering with our girly music and scents. Needless to say, was the first night there was no music thumping, and he left as soon as the car turned on this morning. Cannot believe it says Enya is my favorite for the neighbors. The downstairs neighborhood had the worst sounding speakers. They were a mix of all the speakers I've thrown out over the years, installed in some laundry detergent boxes on top shelf about 24 inches from the ceiling. So I took my Panasonic SB400s and laid them face down on the floor. The bass from Enya shakes everything, and the drone, if there is such a thing as a ghostly howl. Couple of sessions and think it got far more polite. Often awkward says, I'm glad it worked. Based on all observations, I'm the manly type of man. Big, burly, bearded dude. Work on my cars, renovate my own house. Just that stereotypical manly stuff. You can do that and not be an alpha male. You know, you can do that. You can be a man and not be an alpha male because you're a man and you're confident, and alpha males are so low self esteem wimps. I did not consider myself alpha. See, told you. But I also think those labels are kind of dumb. All that said, Taylor Swift is freaking awesome, and and yeah, defeat me with things that smell nice. Next, we have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITJ for banning my family friend and her son from coming over until she replaces what her son broke. Nope, not one bit. Not one bit the a hole. Last year, I've got the final addition to a collection I started, and it's a display cabinet that can only be opened with a key I have stored somewhere. And my family friend's 7-year-old walked into the room where the cabinet was, and politely I told him not to touch. Twice I caught him touching it, and I told him to stop, and all I did was smile, and his mother didn't do anything to him. I politely told her to tell her son to stop, and all she said was, it isn't it locked? He won't get into it. Stop being paranoid." No, he doesn't want touched by a 7-year-old. Stop it. Third time he grabs a chair. He has a metal fork which he tries poking the lot, and I caught him, which startles him, and the chair fell forward, breaking some of the glass of the display cabinet, but luckily nothing was damaged. His father marched over, having been there when I gave the second warning, and takes his son to the other room. I inspect the lock, and it wasn't damaged either. The father and son returned with the kids, confessing his older brother told him to use the fork to pick the lock, so now the two kids are in trouble. Edit. I took look at my family friend and say she has to pay for repairs, and she says, "You shouldn't have such cool collectibles to entice him. I can't have my belongings in my own house." The heck? I told her, "I want you out of my house until you pay for the damage your son did." She says she has nothing to pay for and then leaves. I would sue her. Sue her. She's with her husband and 4 kids. I had someone I know who is good at repairing, aka replacing display cabinet glass, help replace the damage, but am I the jerk for banning them because the family friend refused to pay repair and damage? No. Kid cost. No, you're not. You're fine. Update. Someone has asked what I collect. My collection is of geeky tikis, which are tiki glasses that are made to look like characters from movies and TV shows. Last year, my most recent addition was a Star Wars land speeder one that has a mini Luke and an R2D2. The update wise, the friend I mentioned, she called to say she found out only today that her husband had helped reimburse the payment I paid for the repairs. She asked that since her husband helped pay for the reimbursement, can she and her sons come back over? I asked if her sons were ready to apologize first for manipulating the other and for not listening to me, as well as she is ready to apologize for not telling her son to stop going back and forth to the room where the tiki display cabinet is. She told me she and her sons have nothing to apologize for, and I told her they are still banned from returning to my house until they give a formal apology. Her husband and daughters, who are very well behaved, can still come over. Then I hung up on her. Update 2. If any were curious, the sons got grounded by losing their allowances, which covered the reimbursement. So I got that they lost a few months of allowance to cover the reimbursement. In addition, both ended up losing screen time onto their favorite gaming devices. I think losing their allowances was probably enough, but uh, what does the wife, um, what's the wife's punishment other than not being able to come over? No, they should be not allowed until they can apologize and behave. Imagine your kid breaks something and you say you're not responsible for it. I want to see what these geeky tiki things. Oh, they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Let me share this. This is the Geeky Tiki website. I mean, they're cute. What do we want to look at? Ewoks. Oh, here we go. Ewoks, Cocoa Pals. What that is? Jabba the Hutt. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Um, you got Admiral Akbar, a Bantha bowl set, an at punch bowl, Red Ranger boot pattern, Boba Fett. My husband's Lego club gave the kid who played Boba Fett a Boba Fett Lego figure once, minifig. Captain Kirk, Captain Picard. This is cool. I might buy one of these for my son-in-law if he doesn't find out about this. Suddenly my cough is back. Super annoying. um, so as Aladdin stress, Aladdin strees, Aladdin strees. Couldn't figure out how to how to say Aladdin for a couple seconds. Of course, you were totally in the wrong for displaying cool stuff in your own home. Naturally, that would cause kids to try and get at it. This is all your fault. That's her point of view. I suppose that as the kid gets older and decides to get at and take things he likes, she's going to blame the school, the store, the friends' homes for the kid stealing and shoplifting. Everyone's thinking that she should tell her son that it's wrong not to follow rules, um, and not wrong to take things from kids, take what belongs to others. Right. Um, Next, we have entitled people, which should have been on the other one, right? Entitled My Friend Took Advantage of Me When I was in the hospital. I was away from my home for a month for a planned surgery plus recovery. It was a very extensive surgery. I'm 6 weeks out right now and I can still barely walk. That sounds really difficult and hard and scary. Oh, and there's an update to this too. At the last minute, my hired pet sitter canceled on me and I was desperate to find a replacement. I offered that money to a friend who was having housing difficulties. She was going to take care of my house and pets. I let her stay in my home while I was gone, and I even bought $300 worth of groceries for her. The agreement for her was to take care of my kittens and fish and to have the house tidied up before I got home. My car would be there in case of emergency, but otherwise, please avoid driving it. It's a lease, and I have a allotment of miles I can drive before I have to pay extra. Yeah, that's a problem. Plus insurance. After I was admitted to the hospital, she moved her own cat in and also her boyfriend in. Well, that's a problem. When I got home, my house was an absolute disaster. Dishes piled up in the sink took me 4 loads to clear. Dishes and leftover. Do you have that many dishes? That's a lot of dishes. I mean, I can feed a family of 10 and have less than 4 loads of dishes. Just saying. Dishes and leftover food scattered around the house. Cat vomit left to dry on the floor. Bags of cat litter clumps in the hallway. Half full trash bags left in the entryway. Stains on the couch, floors, and counter filthy. Hire somebody to clean it and then charge them for it. There was a 3-foot circle of wood ash on the floor around the fireplace. They used about 80% of my winter wood pile, so now I don't have enough wood to last me the rest of the winter. So here I am, post surgery, barely able to walk, scrubbing floors, doing dishes, taking out the trash, sweeping and mopping and vacuuming. But there's only so much I can do physically before I'm in massive pain. Well, you guessed it, I have been in massive pain every night since that first night, trying to too much, trying to clean up after her. It hasn't even been a week. She tried to negotiate with me to stay in my house for several more weeks or longer to help with the kids to help with the kids and take care of you. Pff, yeah, right. So I can cook and clean for you too? No. No, not a chance. I'm so weak right now. I had to play it as tactfully as I could. What resulted was her staying an extra 2 days, her useless boyfriend sitting on my couch, eating my food, watching me clean up, and not offering to help. She at least cooked food for me the next day. I called my two besties, a married couple, and asked them to come by to ensure these two left my house when the lift arrived to take them home. I told them hours beforehand to pack and be ready to leave. They waited until 10 minutes prior to finally start packing, and the Lyft driver had to wait half an hour for them. What did they think was going to happen? As they were leaving, the boyfriend was questioning my friend and asking him how long they were staying here. He gray rocked with excellence. The boyfriend was all, I'm just concerned about her, and I want to make sure she has the help she needs, and I'll be back to help out as much as I can. The a-hole did absolutely nothing to help and made everything harder on me. As soon as they were gone, my real friends sent me to bed and helped clean my kitchen and living room. My kids also helped out. Even with that, I could still end up having to spend time over the next several days cleaning up after them. I still haven't tried to remove the couch stains, but at least my son vacuumed all the crumbs and such out of the cushions and cleaned up the fireplace. And then I discovered my car. Forgot about the car. I'd given her permission for 2 non-emergency trips to the city about 30 miles away. She also admitted to using my car a little bit while she was gone. I was too weak to make a fuss of it. Well, it turns out they drove my car 1,100 miles. These parasites took absolute advantage of me while I was at my weakest. So today I sent a text requesting they pay 30 cents a mile of unauthorized use, which adds up to $255. I'll either get some money back for my troubles or I'll scare them away so badly that I'll never have to see them or deal with them again. Either way, it's a win. Butterfly Destiny says, "Have you changed your locks?" That's a good point. Next top rated comment is CJ Myers, and they say, "You do know that she's not your friend and never was. A real friend wouldn't have done that. Yeah, and you would have come home to a clean house. You were not on vacation. You were in the hospital for surgery. What an ungrateful person. Sorry you went through all that. Even if it was a vacation, she should not have come down home to that. That's not how you treat other people. That's not how you treat their things. When you borrow something, which they were borrowing the house, when you borrow something, you return it in the at least in the condition that you found it, if not better. Preferably better, actually. Yeah, everybody's telling her to change her locks. Update. Um, I don't know what the times were. I didn't expect an update to happen so quickly. Honestly, I didn't expect an update at all. Yeah, I can see that. You may call me naive. You're probably right. I just always see the best in people and I hope they choose to be good. Of course you do. It's time to use her names. Her name is Raven, and I don't know if it's her real name, but that's what she introduced herself to me as, and that's how I know her. Her boyfriend is Angelo. The cat's name is Alvin. He's a sweetheart. A bit of background on me. I grew up in an abusive household, one of those never rock the boat homes where image was more important than anything else. If someone harmed me, hurt me, insulted me, anything, I got upset. I was forced to apologize to them. That's not good. My dad was also an explosive man. He was fine most of the time, except for the times when he wasn't. When I was 18, he strangled me. I fled to the army, got away for 4 years, sent to war, and got PTSD. My dad is the only. My dad has only assaulted me a few times over the years. The most recent was last June. The time before was last February, and he left bruises on me. You need to stay away from your dad. Your dad is not a safe person. Your dad is a walking red house. I ended up marrying an emotionally unavailable person who would later become a serial cheater and blame me for the affairs, of course, because why not? For years, I accepted that blame. I tried to change myself. I made myself better so they wouldn't cheat anymore. I finally filed a divorce at the end of 2024. When I called my mom for support, she took the side of my ex and downplayed the affairs. I'm telling you what, when my kids ever get cheated on, that is not the reaction my in-law kids are going to get. When I called my mom for support, she took the side of my ex, downplayed the affairs, and told me to cancel the divorce and beg my ex back for the sake of the kids. No, kids don't need that either. They need people they can look up to, not serial cheaters. It took me a long time to be able to admit to myself that none of this was my fault and that most of it that was just this past year while I've been in therapy. Thank goodness. Like I was going to say you probably need to go to therapy. Hi, Lauren, baby. How are you? Lauren has joined us. Despite everything that happened, I've always blamed myself and not them. I tried over and over to explain to them how they harmed me, and it never worked. She says she's good. Now I'm estranged from my parents as of 3 months ago, which is probably a good thing because your parents don't sound like all that, sweetie. My mom does not respect that and keeps trying to find ways to contact me, including showing up at my house unannounced. My dad has been crap talking me to everyone he can. He battered my ex, threatened to sue us both for grandparents' rights. As soon as my divorce is signed by the judge and finalized, I'll be talking to a lawyer about getting a restraining order against my parents. You should probably go to the police and do some reporting beforehand. I'll let you explain what happened between Raven and why it was so hard for me to kick her out. Not only am I bad at boundaries in general, but also with major surgery, I'm in a weakened state as I slowly recover. I'm so thankful for my friends for coming to help me. I say this to preface what happened last night. I'm glad you have good friends at least. At least you have that. I'm too nice, I know I am, but it's not something I want to let go. People do take advantage of me sometimes, I know. It's a risk of being kind, but I refuse to let my kindness go. I want to live in a world with kindness, and that always starts with yourself. I don't want to grow into a bitter old hag. I mean, that's respectable. Despite posting my story only yesterday, the events took place last weekend. I returned to my home from surgery last Friday. It took me until Sunday to actually get Raven and Angela out of my house. I couldn't have done it without my two best friends who helped enforce for me. Even then, they left behind several things: some clothes, her prescription medicine, her cat, etc. They left the cat. They left the cat. This was likely so they could worm their way back into my home, although I didn't realize it at the time. Then I spent all weekend taking care of my kids and slowly trying to clean the house. Yesterday was custody exchange day, so I finally had some time to just relax and recover. Yesterday, I also ran out of pain meds, and I've been desperately trying to get more all week, but my surgeon is unavailable. My primary care physician is out of the office. My gynecologist never called me back. Typical. Finally, I just went to the AR for pain management, and the doctor and staff were wonderful, but it took a total of 7 hours, and I didn't get home until after 9 o'clock. At 11:45, I got a call from a local number I didn't answer. I didn't recognize. I answered, and it was Raven. Don't answer numbers that you don't know. They will leave a message or get a hold of you some other way. Don't answer the numbers. She was in tears. She said the house they were staying at ended up being a meth house and they were trying to kill each other and she was scared. So why are you calling me? Call call the cops, dude. I was the only person she knew and she needed me to come get her. No, call the cops. I told her I can't. I can't get her. I can't drive that much. I just got out of the ER. I'm on pain meds that make it so I can't drive. I'm not going to put myself around druggies, especially in my current state. And I can't bring her back to my home. I need my home for me. Her attitude simply immediately shifted. The crying immediately stopped and the pitch of her voice dropped and she said something like, "Fine, I get it. I'll figure it out. It's not your problem." You're right, it's not my problem. Good, good. You're getting smart. She hung up and I don't remember exactly as my pain meds made my head fuzzy. After that, she texted me. I'll copy and paste the response as the sub doesn't post pics and I can't share screenshots. Raven, I'm sorry I asked. Can you tell me you can tell me we're not friends anymore. Did I do something really bad? Oh my gosh. Are you serious right now? Me, call 911. You're in danger, and so is everyone around you. Get the police to arrest them and get you to safety. Raven, I already did. Me, good. Raven, I don't know what to do anymore. The cops are here, but they won't help. It looks like the cops left doing nothing in the process. I'm sorry, it's okay. I'll figure something out. At this point, I wrote a long message about how I can't have her back. However, I took a lot of the advice given to me in my last post, especially the criticism calling me a doormat, calling me naive, and saying this was my own fault for being too kind. I don't think it's ever your fault if you're too kind. It's never your fault if you're too kind. It's why put that on people? It's other people that are causing the problem, not the person being kind. I copied what I wrote into an AI and had it rewrite it for me so I could better enforce boundaries. What I originally wrote but didn't send. You have to figure that out for yourself. I'm not your rescuer. I have my own health to take care of and my own children. Besides, I've given you a lot already and you abused that. You left my house in shambles. It's taken me all week to clean up after your stay, and there's still more to do. I've torn stitches trying to make my home safe for my kids. I'm not safe around you and Angelo. He especially scares me. I'm fairly certain he's an addict for the time being. You're not welcome in my home. If you show up, I'll call the cops. Ditch that man and get stability in your life, and I may reconsider. For now, Alvin will be well taken care of. And here's what I actually sent her it with the help of the AI. I'm really sorry you're in a frightening situation. I'm not able to help beyond encouraging you to work with emergency services and local resources. I need to be clear that I cannot be your rescuer. I cannot take on crisis support, transportation, or housing. I'm recovering from surgery and need to focus on my health and my children. Due to what happened during your stay, including the condition my house was left in and the negative impact on my recovery from it, you and Angela are not welcome at my house going forward. This boundary is firm. If you show up here, I will call the police. Alvin will be cared for. I wish you safety, but I cannot be involved in this. Raven, so the stuff I left, I can't get back, not even my cat. Me again with the help of AI. Please send me a list of the personal items you want returned and an address where they can be shipped. I'm not able to arrange in person pickup. For Alvin, I will coordinate a drop off with a vet or shelter, and you can retrieve him from there. If you have a preferred vet, let me know. Otherwise, I'll select one. Raven, the stuff I don't care about, can you please just drop my cat off that I can get him? And I'm sorry that I didn't take care of the house well enough. Please just don't throw my cat away. She's not going to throw the cat away. She said the cat would be well cared for. Can you just drop him off at a local vet like on Monday? Whatever time I'll be there, just don't take my cat away from me. And that's it. I spent the rest of the night so scared that they would show up to my house anyway. I already have PTSD from the army, which leaves me super paranoid that people are going to attack me and harm me. So whenever conflict comes, I end up spiraling and panicking about it, imagining scenarios over and over. Fortunately, my anxiety meds help, and I locked all my doors and windows. I eventually fell asleep at 1 a.m. I've been up since 5. Welcome to insomnia. On Monday, I plan to ask a friend to come with me to drop the cat off, and after that, I will leave. I will inform her that she can get him, and if she can't, well, that's not my problem. As for me today, I have some different friends dropping by to cook me dinner and help clean my house some more. I also have asked them to come to help change the locks, thanks to all the advice I received in my last post. Hopefully, this is the end of it, and I just want to be able to recover in peace. Edit to answer some of the same questions that keep getting up. 1, yes, I have cameras. 2, yes, I'm changing the locks, but I haven't been able to do so yet. I didn't get home from the emergency room last night until 9. I'm not in a position where I can keep running errands all day. I went to the grocery store this morning and about took everything out of me. I have friends coming over tonight to help. 3, yes, I have credit monitoring subscription set up, and I will be going through that when I have the time and energy. There's only so much I can do in a day before my body shuts down. Yeah, my best friend just had surgery a little over a week ago, and she's like, I have to have a nap every afternoon. And that was way minor than this. Recover from aging surgery is absolutely exhausting. It is. It is. Because your body is forcing you to rest so that you can heal. No, I will not keep Alvin. I will not have anything that will invite Raven back into my home. For all of you saying I need to keep him, I welcome you to take him for yourself and subsequently invite Raven to your lives. Then you can deal with all this and I can recover in peace. I'll let you know what location I drop him off at, and you can go pick him up before she does, if she does at all. Yeah, there's no real super interesting comments, but holy cow, that was a lot. That's a lot. I think we need expectation versus reality, don't you? This is entitled Order versus Received. Curious if what was delivered is similar value ordered. Think so. Oops. I think so. That seems there's even more stuff in this one, so it seems like you got a deal, if you ask me. It's beautiful. Why are you complaining? It was a lot. It was a lot. Did you hear the whole thing? Lauren says it was a lot. I think that that arrangement is perfectly fine. So the second top rated comment is educational buyer, and it says wholesale florist here. You got a fair deal. They're missing the white tulip, super hard to get, and the green coffee beans, but they did comp that with other flowers like ruscus and alstroemeria. I cannot pronounce names, floral names. I would not be mad. It looks good. I wouldn't be mad at that either. It's fine. It's not exact. You're never going to get the exact same things because flowers are seasonal, and sometimes you just can't get stuff. But that looked very reasonable to me. Oh, that's what I didn't do. I was running behind and I forgot to do the middle segment. All right. Expectation versus reality means we get to our spiel segment, which I know you're all excited about. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, Tuesday through Thursday, usually around noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your worst enemies, tell your coworkers. They may be your worst enemies. Heck, your family might be your worst enemy. Hopefully, your friends are not your worst enemy, though. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and the email address is also in the description. Okay, next we have our real estate. Have that too. And it is entitled Mark Wahlberg's Designer's Mansion. Designer's Mansion, not his mansion, his designer's mansion. And it is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, apparently. It is pending, so somebody's going to buy this. It is basically $1 million, 6 bedrooms, 7 baths, 9,200 square feet. So this is the designer that the designer. It's very I don't know, modern, plain. Is that just the garage? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, at least 4 cars in the garage. What are those? Anybody got an idea? They look like boats, like speedboats. I don't know. Miniature speedboats? Oh, wow, that's busy. That's busy. Busy, busy, busy. Yeah. It's too much gold. I don't like it. This nouveau riche. I would not do this if I got rich. It's too much. It's too busy. Calm down. This is neat, but I don't like the color because it's too much gold with the other gold. Maybe if it wasn't, maybe if all the other gold wasn't there, it would look really cool. But I do like the lights behind the panels is kind of cool. Oh, these gold wine bottles. Like, seriously, come on. What are we doing here, people? That table is fugly. Oh my gosh. And the chairs are not elegant at all. They're kind of ugly too. Okay, this guy likes his boats, that's what I'm getting. Boat here. There was a boat in the other room. I guess Buddha's supposed to calm you down. I don't know. There you go. That's nice. I like these little chairs in the water. That's nice. See, I don't hate everything, just most of the stuff. Yeah, that looks jaded. That doesn't look like a real photo. 5-car garage, but one of the cars is behind the post, which is weird. And you can see the cars from the inside. Why? I don't need to see in my garage, honestly. Okay, why are we just having pictures of the cars? We're trying to sell the house, not cars. Come on. We've seen these before. I do not need cars in my living space. It's so weird. Is that supposed to be a sink or just a weird wall? Finally, something different than the cars. That is a weird desk. And you should not have your safe out like this so everyone can see it, sir. That tells people you have money. You don't want people to know you have money. Yeah, those were definitely like some kind of boat, 'cause there's more boat models here. This guy likes his boats. Oh, look at the top. It has boats too. This guy definitely likes his boats, which is fine. And he likes his $100 bills in the bathroom. And why did the bathroom look all rusted up? I did not know. Absolutely not. Why would you do that? That's bizarre. Ew. No, absolutely not. I can't believe they would even show a house like this. Is this supposed to be some kind of design? Because it's not getting it. It is not getting it. Another more pictures of the fugly dining area, which does have a boat and a pig in the picture. Oh my goodness. And a tree growing in the living room. Okay, it's a bonsai tree, but still, it's an awfully big bonsai tree. Okay, we've seen all this. You have 85 pictures, and half of them are of the cars, and the other half are of the living room. We've already seen this. I swear these realtors do not know what they're doing when they're doing pictures. No, that looks okay. I don't have a problem with that area. Lots of screens. I'm assuming they're TV. Yeah, that's cute. I like that. Little bar thing with the grill. It's a bar and grill. Ah, I crack myself up. Is that is that a smoker? Or is that something else that that I'm not familiar with? Or a dryer? It's got to be a smoker, right? Ooh, that's cool. Little like waterfally thing coming out of the roof. That's really cool. That's nicer than the rest of the house. 3. Count them. Oh no, 4. 4-door refrigerator. Hopefully one of them's a freezer. One of them's definitely a wine cooler. So I guess the wine's not in the dining room after all. Okay, you definitely don't need 2 microwaves. You need 2 ovens, but you don't need 2 microwaves. It's interesting, I guess, with the rocks inside of the kitchen island. Giant lamp. Why do you have a giant lamp? Why do you have a giant heat lamp in your bedroom? Oh no, there you go. There's a rich person's bed. I actually like the tub. It has little headrests, so it's nice. I could use that. Giant closet, of course, because the richy rich gotta have their Chanel and their Louis Vuitton closets. Now I know they have bugs in Florida, so I would not be opening my home to them. No, thank you. Actually, they have giant bugs in Florida. There's a bed. It goes directly to the outside where there's a sitting area. Is that supposed to be part of the bedroom? I don't know. I am very confused. Although Florida's different. That's nice. I actually quite like that. Yeah, another fancy bathtub. We're almost done. We're getting there. I finally got to the good stuff, the bedrooms. Little sitting area. That's interesting. Little artwork on the live flowers. It's like an in wall vase, I guess. And all of the gym equipment. Does it stay? It seems like that would get really hot in Florida with those windows. Yeah, that seems like something you'd want in your exercise space, a guy smoking a cigar. That's exactly the theme you need for your exercise room. Of course, he has to have a theater room. Very nice. I would have different carpet. Carpet needs to be red in the theater room because that's what they were in the back in the day. A nice shower. Why are the toilets all squared off in these houses? It's weird. I don't think I'd like a square toilet. I like my nice roundy ones. Teeny and Rossi. That's weird. I'm so confused. I don't know what that that movie poster was. See, I don't like that at all for a toilet. Like, what the heck? How can that possibly be comfortable? And all this space, and you have one teeny tiny little washer and dryer. I wish we could find them that size. They might fit in my space. Another square toilet. That does not look comfortable at all. There's the neighborhood with the golf course, of course. It's quite near the ocean, but not on it. And this, I guess that's I don't know. I don't know. It's very odd. Well, let's go see what we can find out. 6 bedrooms, 7 baths, 9,248 square feet for about $1 million. Casa Mia Bella. It has a name. Developer was Aldo Stark of Prestige Design Homes. Yeah, I don't think I'd hire him for to be honest, I don't think I'd hire him for my house. Too much woo woo. You need understated, not like, look, I'm rich. I have gold in my house. The Grand Salon integrates naturally to the outdoors, where resort style amenities define an exceptional standard of living. Oh, geez. Oh, supposedly the gourmet kitchen is supposed to exemplify Italian contemporary. I still don't think I like those doors in the bedrooms. Like, no, thank you. I do not need those bugs in my house. Thank you. Heating is electric, cooling is electric. The appliances look like they are all. Oh, they're not leaving the washer and dryer, so good luck with replacing those. Tile flooring, impact glass, sliding impact glass. Has a fireplace. It's a decorative fireplace. Parking's 12, 5 spaces, 2 spaces, drive. The garage is attached and has an automatic garage door opener, so that's good. Um, there's also uncovered spaces. It's only on half an acre, not even quite half an acre. Yikes. Has a private pool. We saw that. It is fenced, so the riffraff doesn't have to bother you. And property taxes, you ready? $74,000 a year. So you better have your money in order in order to buy this one. It's weird. The exterior, all around it, has like you know properties with the tags on them, and in the middle doesn't. It's weird. See what they have to say. Dreamwind says horrendous. The rusting $100 bill bathroom running down the walls is grotesque. Yes, I agree. Sharkus says that was the thing that got me. All this weird opulence in that bathroom was a trigger. Road Goddess said for me the trigger was all the over the top weird lighting through the place. Uh he's got all these pictures of Buddha and Zen gardens with his garish LED looking lighting. Um Local finance says Imes lawn chairs in a gym with the Chanel logo thrown pillows. This is a house designed by sentient cocaine. It's good. Ecudus is quoted, I want my guests to feel like they're in a cocaine lord's wet dream, but also saw the movie when they need the restroom. Oh, Nerd De Norden said, dude buys all of his light fixtures at Home Depot. Probably the worst lighting choices I've ever seen. And Weird Oatmeal says there's too many lighting fixtures, but not enough light. It's pretty sure. Alternative Life says, I'm pretty sure I designed these designed rooms with this lighting in Animal Crossing. Oh my goodness. Oh, all right. Break time's over. We got to go back to serious stuff. This is from subreddit Confession, entitled, I've been stealing my roommate's expensive groceries for months because she's a hypocrite. I know it's crappy, but I honestly don't care at this point. My roommate spends all her time complaining about being broke and asking for extra time to pay her half of the electric bill. But then she fills the kitchen with $12 jars of almond butter and those $4 individual glass bottle sodas. Oh, I just got something in my eye. Ouch. I got tired of seeing generic bread man eating generic bread at generic. I got tired of eating generic brand everything while she's buying $9 loaves of artesian bread. That's some expensive bread. So I just started using her stuff. I use her expensive olive oil for my cheap pasta, and I've been eating her fancy Greek yogurts for lunch almost every day. She's so scatterbrained she doesn't even notice. She thinks she just ran out and goes and buys more. The thing is, she isn't even broke because of the grocery prices. I saw her phone screen the other day. when she was showing me a meme, and her notifications were full of payment failed alerts for like 6 different streaming services and clothing boxes. I saw her money GPT report and it showed a lot of unnecessary expenses. She's just bad with money and expects me to subsidize her life by covering the utilities late every month. If she can't figure out how to manage her own bank account, it's not my problem. I'm just going to keep eating her fancy snacks until she actually pays me back for the gas money she owes from 2 months ago. I'm basically charging her tax for being late. Yeah, no, I can understand that. There's some justification in that. Mindless Potato says, "Yeah, no, I think she knows what you're doing and genuinely doesn't care as long as you're shutting up about the bills and eating. She probably doesn't mind." Particular excuses. It's kind of funny. Like OP is objectively just trading electric money for fancy snacks. Somebody answered that. Roommate is keeping a tally and is going to come back with you actually ate $33 more food than the utility bill is worth, so you owe me money. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, next we have interesting AF, and it is a man kicking a tree. So we get to watch this man kicking this tree. What happens when you kick a tree. Oops. Shoot. Sorry, my bad. It did go to it was supposed to share. It just didn't. I just forgot to click the button. Yeah, that's pretty much what an avalanche is. Poor doggo. At least that dog was made for the winter. That's a cold weather doggo. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you expected to happen. Substantial unit says, I feel all the snow going down my coat collar. Yes, exactly. Somebody answered, so do I now. I hate you. Haven't got a bone. All right, next is from Am I the A-hole? And it's entitled AITA for sticking my freshly single mom with $20,000 of debt. Probably. I, 19 male, have been paying off a car loan from my mom female 40 since I turned 16. She gifted me with a 2022 current year Nissan Sentra for my birthday. I foolishly never asked how much she signed for because I had assumed that her financially knowledgeable boyfriend. Ugh. I foolishly never asked how much she signed for because I had assumed her financially knowledgeable boyfriend at the time would know what he was doing at the dealership. He did not. The original MSRP for my car capped around $20,000 out the door because they walked away with a $40,000 loan. They put nothing down and had a 10% interest rate because my mom's credit was bad and she had no job. But even accounting that, the math never made sense to me. The payments every month was $510. I didn't care because the original deal was that me and mom's boyfriend would split the monthly note. That lasted all 3 months until I was stuck paying the entire thing and have been since that day. About a year ago, I went to the bank with my mom to try and transfer the loan from her name into mine, but since the interest rate would be recalculated, it would add about $10,000 to the loan. We both agreed not to. I moved out at 18 and lived with a roommate, but bills have been tighter. My girlfriend's mom suggested that I look for a new car that's more budget, and I found a used 2025 Corolla with 10,000 miles for 18K. A better car for cheaper than what I would be paying off my current car. I told my mom that I was planning to get a new car, and if she wanted to sell my old car, it would be her decision, and she lost her crap, saying how it's my responsibility and that it was a gift for me, and how she saved me $10,000 by not transferring the loan. Ma'am, you paid for that loan. That is your car. The The biggest elephant is that she's freshly divorced and is looking for a job to support her two younger girls. I told her she can sell the car for about 14 to 15,000, but she refused it and is demanding I drain my savings to pay for a car that I never agreed to pay for, and ultimately was their terrible financial decision. On one hand, I don't feel like I owe her anything. She never truly got along with my mom, so what is it? Huh? I'm confused. I thought it was your mom. On the other hand, I feel guilty for kicking her while she's down, looking for unbiased opinions. I'm confused. So once you say it's your mom, and then you say it's not your mom, I don't believe this is even true. It's either your mom or you're not your mom. Somebody said, "Go park the Sentra in her driveway and hand her the keys and walk away. You let her problems because your problems. This is your out. I'm giving you the car back, mom. Happy birthday." OP. Answers them. God bless you. Green Man says either you keep hearing someone sneeze or you're from the U.S. Southeast. God bless you. Oh. Wes Morgan says as long as your name is not on the car or the title, it's not your car. It's her car and her boyfriend's if he's on the loan or title, which makes it her obligation. NTA. Yep, he says he does not own the car. That's her car. Mom's car. Mom was just letting me use it. Next is Overheard, and it is entitled Reminding Coworkers About Team Spirit. I was in the office early one morning having my coffee and starting my day. Kitty corner from me sat Tom, one of our PMs. He was listening to his voicemail out loud. The current message was from someone who was irate as he called Tom an a-hole and a few other sharp names and was yelling. I could imagine spittle coming out of the corner of his mouth. I could hear everything clearly from my cube. Tom hung up his voicemail and returned to the call. His first words were, "Who's your manager?" The person on the other end provided the name, and Tom replied, "Hold, I'm going to conference him in." I heard Tom push the buttons and lean back in his chair. He started, "Let me introduce myself. I'm Tom, last name, and I work for company." He continued, hardly pausing for breath. "The same person that signs my check signs your check. You called me and raised your voice and left profanities. I get paid a lot of money to put up with crap from clients. However, I should not have to put up with it from fellow employees. The next time you call me, you will be nice. You will say please and thank you, and you will not raise your voice at me. Have I made myself perfectly clear? Y'all have a nice day." And then he hung up. I overheard this car more than 20 years ago, and I can still quote it pretty much verbatim. I think it's a lesson we should all remember as we go about our workday. Yeah, 100% on that. I have had coworkers that have yelled at me on the phone, yelled at my boss on the phone, etc., etc., etc. Nothing ever happened to the guy. Why? Uh, because Tom brought in all the money. So it didn't matter how he treated other people, which is BS. Red River says, I learned this early in my career and have used it many times. The next time you speak to me, you will need to plan on being professional. I've said this to customers and coworkers and subordinate. I don't think I've ever said it to a boss, but I'd like to think that I would should the occasion arise. It leaves them stunned. Wish I'd have read that about 10 years ago. Would have been helpful. Next is what do I do? And it is entitled, My Employer is Making Me Train Someone Who is Getting Paid $15,000 more than me for the same role. Well, that's BS. That's complete BS. The new hire I'm supposed to be hiring is making $15,000 more than me annually. Same position, same responsibilities. They're just new, and I've been here 3 years. HR keeps saying salary information is confidential, but the new hire literally told me that what they're making during lunch, and they thought we were making similar amounts. Now I'm supposed to train this person who is getting paid way more than me to do the exact same job I do. I am training my own higher paid peer. Do I demand a raise? I might not get it, but then I've just made things awkward. Do I quit? Lose income and have a job hunt, or do I just train them quietly seething and updating my resume? The whole situation feels insulting. 3 years of experience apparently means less than being a new hire in a better job market. Spend last night on my couch playing Jackpot City, still pissed off about it and going through every possible conversation with my manager in my head. What's the move here? Has anyone dealt with this before? Reeves says that's why we should all talk about salary. Completely agree. Not talking about it only protects the company. I once told someone who was way more experienced and educated that what my salary was. I made more than him. He discussed it with the management. I did not care that he shared what I told him with them. He deserved better, and so do you. I'm happy to train this person, but I became aware of the discrepancy in our pay. Please help me understand this. If the market is better now, perhaps I should be looking. uh, Nikati says, or perhaps I should be looking instead of training this new person. But still look if they match the pay, the writing's on the wall. No, the person that has been there for 3 years, has given you their loyalty, deserves more money than the person who just started. That's crazy. Eric Pride says yes, similar when trying to hire for a position. Use it for negotiation or market adjustment, and salary is not legally confidential. Your work wants you to think that for the exact same reason you're considering asking for more. Subtle Glow says, yeah, I had an intern ask what I was getting paid, so he knew what to negotiate towards. I told him without hesitation. My boss sent a crappy message to the group chat a couple days later about pay being confidential and being unprofessional and inappropriate to discuss it. It's not. Not at all. The intern called me to apologize for it and told him not to sweat it. I'd handle it. I just posted a link to the Equal Pay Act and the National Labor Relations Act in the group chat and left it at that. Boss's reply was just because it was legal doesn't mean we should and that we should and that we shouldn't. I quoted the part where it was illegal for him to tell us that we couldn't and didn't engage past that. My point was made. Checkmate, Mother Wanger. Every other single person in the chat messaged me privately to celebrate this mic drop that it was. I kept the screenshots just in case he decides to retaliate. That's how you do it. You go to law. Businesses do so many illegal things. It's crazy. And no one ever calls them on it. So good for you. Mildly infuriating, and it says interesting way to save a spot. Um, depends on where you live. The sign says, "I pop tires. Do not park here." Single mom who shoveled every 3 hours. I'm at work. Yeah, she worked for that spot. And it looks like there's still snow there too. Um, I'm. It's my understanding that this is normal in like Chicago. Rock says, "Small uplifting story. We got last couple of weeks. We got a ton of snow. I can hear neighbors on both sides firing up their snow blowers and such to clear things out. The neighbor in particular that I have a blast with during the warmer seasons of the year tried to start his snowblower, and all I hear is crap. A couple of days pass, I see the snow just building up on his driveway. While him and his wife were at work, I cleared out his driveway, the spot on the street for their car, and the pathway to their cars from the back and front doors of the house. The next day, I get a text saying, 'You a-hole, you didn't need to do that.' Needless to say, I was thankful." Or narrow Wolverine. A-hole, now how am I supposed to convince my wife I need a new snowblower now? Vanguard Avenger said, I did a version of this to someone else, had a big snowstorm, basically just up to just below the door handle. That's a lot of snow. Shoveled a spot on the street. Everything was good for a couple days. Pretty much everyone on the street respected each other's spot. Had a neighbor who had a driveway, thought they were special snowflake and didn't shovel it. After a few days, they tried to leave. Obviously, took them forever to get over the snow. I wound up leaving while they were trying to get out. Come back late at night, and they decided to park in my spot instead of back into their unshoveled driveway. So I shoveled out 2 spots because I thought an extra spot would give plausible deniability to who trapped the car. Left all the snow. I had to move between their cars, side, and the street, basically pinning them in. They seemed pretty pissed in the morning when they had to get a giant pile of snow blocking their car in. uh, Somebody named King something says, "Nothing brings out the petty in people like a snowstorm." On my neighborhood street, there's only parking on my side of the street. The neighbor across the street had a kid that didn't bother moving her car to her driveway when it snowed, and as a result, when the plows drove by, they would pile up extra snow in front of my driveway going around her car. Well, this third snow that year, they dropped a good 8 inches on us, and she parked her car dang near the edge of my driveway. And they pushed a good foot of snow and half a berm up my driveway. I had it. I basically covered her hood in it and barricaded the rest around her car. As fate would have it, it got cold as crap that night and it froze solid. Her dad was pissed we had some words, but I never had an issue with her car during the winter again. Hux says, reading all these stories of anger, rage, and resentment centering around winter weather just warms my heart. It truly brings out in people, whether it's the East, North, Midwest, rural, city, whatever. I've never had that problem. We used to, in our old neighborhood, when we actually had neighbors. We have neighbors now, but we're on a 3-acre lot, so in the summer I pretend I don't even have them. Um, we would sometimes shovel the neighbor's drive, and sometimes they would shovel ours. I hated it when they shoveled ours because the guy was clearly not in good health. And he would be out there huffing and puffing. I was afraid he was gonna have a heart attack, shoveling our drive, so I tried to get to it before him. And it was usually me because I was the one at home. Next we have Am I Overreacting? And it is entitled AIO to my best friend finally reaching out. Um, Says, "Hey brother, I'm sorry I haven't been responding and I have been so not present. I miss you, man. I miss the family. Hit you up when you get this. I, 28 male, woke up to a text this morning from my best friend, 28 male of 21 years, after he went no contact out of the blue 8 months ago. No warning, no explanation, just gone. He stopped answering calls and texts. I've tried showing up at his house to see if he was okay, no response. An effort of support or encouragement on my end was ignored. Before this, him and I would talk on the phone multiple times a week and we would hang out quite often. He never fought or argued or had any kind of falling out, so for him to just disappear was confusing and sad. The first few months, I was extremely worried about his well being. He's always been the type to bottle up his emotions and not talk about problems he's dealing with. So I was concerned something happened that made him shut down. That was until I found out he was still talking to one other of our mutual friends who lives in another state the entire time. I tried reaching out to the mutual friend, asking him if everything was okay, and got left on reds. After 5 months, I gave up trying to reach out. I started to accept that he didn't want to be friends. Whatever the reason he had was good enough for him to throw away a 21-year-long friendship. I've been grieving the loss of my friend ever since. Then this morning, I woke up with this text for him, and I AIO for feeling angry and sad, and like I don't want to respond back. Not out of pettiness because he dropped me with no explanation. I'm torn on this. I'm torn. Maybe there is a reason. Maybe he doesn't want you to know the reason, but maybe there is a reason. Maybe he's embarrassed about something or something's not going well in his life. You don't know until you actually accept him reaching out. And if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine too, because you have to protect yourself. But I'd be too curious. I need to know what's going on. Vivid Importance says, I'd ask if I was really over it. Worst case, I don't like their answer. Now I'm ghosting. But I'm nosy, so. Jin Geigenfoot? Yeah, how could you not ask? If you cared about them, you'd want to know. But imagine OP asked and then he ghosted him again. That would piss me off so much. Yeah, that would be true. And there's a chance of that happening. uh, F Town Road says, I apologize for hijacking the top comment thread, but here goes. I partied a lot when I was younger. Me and a small group of friends would go out several nights a week enjoying regular beers and nose beers. Don't know what that means. Without getting too much into it, I have a falling out with one member of the group over something minor. Shocking with drugs and alcohol involved, I know. But simultaneously, I thought this would be a good idea to be healthier, so I quit partying and lost connection with the group of friends as a whole. 4 years went by, and I got a friend request on Facebook from the guy I argued with. I didn't accept it. I don't know exactly why, but I wasn't really mad anymore. But I was sure that the benefit would be. But I didn't decline it either because I was considering reaching out anyway. So it just sat. Anyway, less than a year after that, he was dead. So now I can't ever. I can't ask him how his daughters, who I never met, are. I can't introduce him to mine. I can't talk about marriage or how my dad got sick. I can't never talk about how our inside jokes because I'm the only one here. I guess what I'm saying is I wish I were sitting here regretting accepting a friend request and wish someone would have told me not to hold a grudge. Sunshine says, this happened to me one time. We were great friends, mostly living together if we were not with our family or boyfriends. And she just never answered back, later lost contact with me. After a couple of years, she reached out. She told me everything about her mental illness. We met times after she just disappeared again. That was about 4 or 5 years ago, and my heart's bleeding every time I remember what happened, but I never regret listening to her story and her problems. Sometimes we are not the best for each other, and if she feels I can't help her, I need to accept that. Mari Rosa says, That's what happened to me. My best friend, 15 plus years, started ghosting me out of nowhere, and I saw her at a mutual friend's bachelorette, so I asked what happened. If I did something I need to apologize for. She assured me she's just been busy and nothing is wrong. She doubles down every time I try to ask, but continues to exclude me from activities with our mutual friends, or she'll have an emergency if she's invited to something and knows I'll be there. That's weird. Opie's friend might never answer the question. I just had to give up on knowing why and accept that it's just who she is now. I totally understand feeling hurt and bitter and not wanting to talk to somebody who cut you out like that. I agree. Edited to say it's also normal to ask why. Sometimes people want to work through something and sometimes they won't. I don't treat my friend any differently when I bump into her. Just keep in mind that she doesn't want to be friends anymore for whatever reason, and I expect that. That's really weird. I mean, people don't dump people for no reason. There's always a reason. I mean, I've never heard of not being a reason. It sounds crazy. Yeah, I don't think you're overreacting. Here's another one. Ranty McThrowaway says, NOR, I went through something similar with one of my best friends last year and similar feelings of betrayal and confusion. When she was ready to reintegrate with our friend, she apologized for and acknowledged her absence and explained that she was at rock bottom with her mental health and didn't want to burden anybody. And honestly, after going through something extremely traumatic in September, I found myself understanding her a lot more for how she acted. It felt like I couldn't talk to anyone without flooding them with my grief. It's not healthy to isolate yourself, but sometimes it feels like the least destructive option, even if that may not be true. If I were you and you still see value in this friendship, I'd reply saying you were hurt and that you were ghosted and would like an explanation. Then decide for yourself if the explanation is good enough or not. To me, what happened to my friend wasn't worth losing her over entirely, and we see her regularly now that she's feeling stronger. But maybe you want to make a different choice. Let me stress it's absolutely okay too. Good answer. Yeah, I have people that have ghosted me. One of them, I have no idea why. She's not completely ghosted. She just was acting weird the last time we got together. She brought her sister to lunch dates. Like, why is your sister here to protect me from what? Like, what have I ever done mean to you? Next, we have Traumatize Them Back, and it is entitled Need Creative Suggestions. Need suggestion. My ex-husband is driving on my grass when he comes to pick the kids up, and he does it when he backs out, so the camera time out and doesn't record. Directions how to stop this obnoxious behavior, and this is the rut he's forming. Forming a rut right at the end of the driveway. Yeah, that's obnoxious. Stop doing that. Put a rock there. A giant rock would go far. Or, put some Silly Tricia says boulder right there. Yep, boulder or some very sturdy barrier posts. Do check before having the posts installed. Make sure they're allowed. Say it with your chest. It says, if it's a ball, what if it's a bollard with a boulder over it? I'd make sure the boulder stays where it should, where it is. Dig it out a foot deeper and fill it with water before he comes. Whitebird says with water and some clay mixed in clay, you want him getting stuck, and then you can send him the bill for the repairs and the resodding. Once that done, to put a small concrete planter there and make it look exactly like wood or a wood planter with minimal dirt and mostly full of concrete. Pot Noodle Miner says can't mess around with high winds. These things need to be appropriately weighted down. 100%. Decorative boulder. Decorative, so you can't be blamed if he hits it and wrecks his car. Dob Girl says we had a neighbor who drove wildly. We our chain link put in our chain link fence. My husband had a feeling that this guy was going to back into it, so he filled the metal posts with cement. It looked like any other chain link, but it was solid. And sure enough, a couple months later, the guy tore out of his driveway and backed into the corner of our chain link fence. It ruined his car. The fence post was fine. I like this one. I don't know how to pronounce that. There's not enough vowels in the uh, username. Accidentally drop a box of three 3-inch wood screws right there. Oops. All right. Next, we have best of Redditor updates, and it is entitled A New Update. I, 17 female, got a call from the police about a work incident and want to come talk to me. What do I go in? And this was originally posted on Advice and her own page. Original post was June 5th, 2025, so last June. I, 17 female, have been working at a local grocery store for 2 years. It's a great place to work, and I really would hate to lose my job. This morning, I got a call from the police telling me they have been aware of an incident at the grocery store that involves me, and they want me to come to the station to discuss what it's about. I told them that I have a shift this morning, and they told me to call in sick and come to the station. So you probably want to call in sick and come to the station because this could probably be very serious, and it's not probably something that you did. It's probably done to you. The only thing I can think about is that I've been taking day-old bakery items and produce at the end of the days when I'm closing. The food either gets sent away as a donation or thrown in the trash. I always make sure I'm not taking from the donation section. The manager told me it's okay for me to do this, but I know the owner wouldn't approve. I'm freaking out. Am I going to get charged with stealing? Not if your manager told you you could. Would I get in much trouble for taking expired cookies at the end of my shift? I don't even think the owner could prove if I've done this. There aren't any cameras in the back room with the garbage. I don't think the manager would tell on me since he tells me and offers me these things. Do I go in and help? I told the police I'll see what I can do about working it back to them. OP clarifies. Sorry, yes, they did tell me to bring an adult with me. Both my parents are at work, and I was super afraid to call them and tell them and confess I've been stealing. I guess it's stealing. But I do think I think I do need to call them. We'll do that now. Commenter, there's a minimum dollar amount for theft because it is considered a crime, if you will. And I want to say it's normally around $700. And it has to be one theft. If it's below the minimum, whatever is in your jurisdiction, it's likely a misdemeanor. You can't be prosecuted from what I remember. You can be prosecuted, but it's a misdemeanor, so it's not as it's a fine. It wouldn't be jail time or something like that. I used to work in a high value specialty retail, and I had to know the rules. OP, that's a relief because I don't really think I've been taking over 700 expired food. The police did give them their badge numbers and names to write down to give to my parents. I've tried calling my parents, but they're both at work and didn't pick up. Sent them texts. My shift isn't for another 2 hours. I'm going to wait for my parents before I call the manager. Update 2, same post about 8 minutes later. Update 1, I texted my parents and my mom just called. She told me she called the police and she's coming to pick me up in half an hour to go to the station. She sounded really upset, but not with me. She told me that I'm not in trouble, but to not even call my work. What's going on? Somebody's got a camera somewhere. Update 2, same post, sometime in the next several hours. Update 2, wow, thank you for all the advice. I took the initial ones I read and got my parents involved right away. My mom was a boss. I have to think about what I can update to get back to you later because honestly, it's really bad. Like nightmare fuel, legally bad. I'm okay, I think. Was at the station for hours. I'm not in trouble. It wasn't about stealing cookies, but it's far from over. Sorry for being so vague. This sounds like a sexual predator situation to me. Update 3, same post, July 6th, 2025, the next day. Update 3. First, I want to clarify. The police were not suggesting that I go in without my parents. They called and asked to speak to my parents. When I told them they weren't home, they asked me to call them back, get them to call them back. When I asked what it was about, they told me the above. When I told them I can't come in today because I'm working, they told me it was important and to do what I needed to do, like call in sick. I apologize for not being more clear about that phone call. A lot of you were concerned the police were trying to take advantage of me. Thank you for caring. I was just freaking out thinking I was going to get in trouble for stealing old bakery items that the manager told me I could take. I've never been in trouble before, so I was mortified and I'd have to confess to this to my parents. Your manager told you could take them, you're not in trouble. I wouldn't like if that had happened when my kids were kids, it's like, well, the manager told you could take them. You're not in trouble with me. You might be in trouble with the law, but you're not in trouble with me. The first few commenters were telling me to talk to my parents, which kind of snapped me out of it. And like, duh, I need to tell my parents, so I did pretty quickly. I don't know what the police told my mom, but she got home faster than she said, and she took me straight there. My dad was there when we got there. I was freaking out, even though my mom told me it wasn't about me stealing and to not worry about that. She also called my work and told them I wouldn't be coming in for my shift. On to the update. The previous manager was filming employees changing in and using the bathroom. Told ya. Told you it was a predator thing. An old coworker was tipped off by someone else that they had found a video of her on some website. There were dozens of videos posted of multiple girls over many years using the bathroom and changing in the bathroom. I am one of those girls. I only saw the video of the only video I saw of myself that they wanted to verify it was me going to the bathroom, going into the washroom to put my hair up and putting lip gloss on in the mirror. I know there's more, but I don't want to see it. There was a whole team there, mostly female officers, counselors, etc. I was actually pretty impressed by how they presented and handled all of it because, well, like so many of you, I don't trust the cops and they've never really made me feel safe. The old manager was arrested. I'm not sure when, but it was before they called me. They got my number from one original victim who gave out numbers of all the female employees that she had. It's a whole thing. I was asked many times. I was also asked to identify two unknown victims, like a screenshot from a video. It seemed like they are customers who somehow got access to the employee bathroom because no one can identify them. It's been a lot to process. I always thought that guy was a creep. He's the nephew of the owner. Similar thing happened to in my town, only with um Tim Hortons that my now son-in-law worked at. I winging wish it was about pastries. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter, from the way your mom reacted, I knew this was what it would be, but I didn't want to creep you out or worry you if I was wrong. So I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm glad your parents are advocating for you. Don't allow anyone to minimize or sweep this under the rug. Ask for therapy. Call the police with any questions. There are websites. I don't know what the. There are websites that you can sign up for that will alert you if the creep is ever released from jail. If you want to be informed on the legal process in order to stand up for yourself with something like victim impact statement that can be issued to the court, ask the police about it. The victim impact statement would come during the not the conviction phase, but the sentencing phase. So you don't do victim impact until sentencing. OOP, a few people guessed it, but I already knew by the time I came back and tried to read all the comments. My parents have me set up in therapy tomorrow. I don't feel like I need it, but I understand how these things can grow. Commenter, oh my, OMG, I wish I could give you a hug if you want one. This is so scary. I'm glad the police took it seriously, and it sounds like set you up with some counseling contacts and resources. Make sure you keep those even if you don't have to use them right away. You may want to in the future. Human brains are funny about how they process stuff. OOP said, thanks. Apparently, this has been an investigation for a while now. The OG victim stopped working there 3 years ago, which means he's been filming in there since before I worked there. But he only left 6 months ago, so I was filming while I was 15. So gross. On going back to work, she says, I won't be going back to work there. It's too creepy. Another commenter says, to another commenter, she says, thanks. My mom told me to take the summer off and have fun, but I like working, so I'm going to find a new job. That's good that she likes working. That'll hold her in good stead the rest of her life. Commenter, glad they caught him. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Seem like a very kind person to be so worried about eating day old items you were told you could eat. It's nice to see some people with conscience, but don't be too tough on yourself. OOP, it seems so silly now that I was worried about cookies. I think to avoid that guilt in the future, I'll just not do anything that makes me feel a little uneasy and save myself the stress. Commenter, recommend that your mother speak to an attorney. It's disgusting, and the ex-manager and store need to be sued and him jailed. Nothing. I don't think that store needs to be sued if they didn't know what's going on. Nothing is going to make this right, so to speak. But a lawsuit, if successful, may help you with college expenses and/or therapy should you need it. OP, I haven't agreed yet, but they're putting together a whole charge on him with any of the girls that want to press charges. Parents are talking about suing the store. Commenter, hindsight is certainly 2020, but I just got to laugh at all the people talking about their asses. Don't trust the police, tell them to get a warrant, etc. They were acting in capacity to protect this young lady and others who had been victimized by this weirdo manager. This should serve as a lesson. Maybe we are all too damn opinionated about things we know so very little about. 100%. OP, the first comments were so helpful, telling me to talk to my parents. I'm the kind of glad I didn't check back here before doing just so. I probably would have gotten really scared. New update, December 9th, 2025. 6 months from previous update. Back in June, I was asking for advice on the subject line. I thought it was because I had been taking home baked goods that were basically garbage, but turned out the past manager had been secretly recording me, my coworkers, and customers in the bathroom. He was uploading the video on some Russian porn site. Some of the videos of me were taken when I was a minor. I got good advice and I'm getting messages for an update, so here I am. Manager got arrested but was released pretty quickly on bail. That's normal. His uncle is one of the owners of the establishment and is apparently aware of his pervertedness. Okay, now you can sue the store. Some girls complained about him taking their pictures as well as being inappropriate. Instead of firing him, his uncle moved him from store to store. This caused a pretty big uproar among the local community. The uncle allegedly got kicked out from being an owner or something. In total, there were about 8 of us that were filmed, ages 14 to 50 something. Court case won't happen until sometime next year. I've gotten therapy and I'm doing pretty all right. The last many months, especially the summer, were pretty messed up. I'm glad the info gathering is over. Court will be pretty exhausting. Myself and the others are suing for damages. There's a lot more I can't say, but that's the gist. Dude got arrested, then released. Lots of evidence, corrupt family crap, local uproar. We'll see what next year brings. Silent ad says, I cannot imagine how violating this would feel. Yeah. People are so creepy. He probably has cameras in all of the stores if they were moving in from store to store. I just check the other stores, man. He'll be in jail for life. Consecutive. Consecutively going from city to city getting prosecuted for the same crime over and over again because he was doing it over and over again. This is all me, says someone working at a local school put a camera in a woman's staff bathroom. Hearing their testimonies both in court and in front of the school board was horrifying. Something about church says, I have a bad enough reaction to the thought of being filmed without my knowledge in a private setting after a lady I house up for, who I knew my mom since childhood, told me after I sat for her that she had cameras in her house and that she got video proof of me hitting one of her dogs and breaking crap. There are many reasons why I would never in a million years do any of that, cameras or not. That's cruel and asking for trouble and all kinds of wrong. Also, her dogs were nice and had no reason to be mean to them. But I was naked in the house a few times, and I also recorded in a space that should have been private, or at least tell me where the camera was so I could avoid being naked in their line of sight. She threatened legal action against me if I threw a stink about it. Huh, well, let her. She's got the evidence. Also dared me to come pick up my payment for the house sitting while she was at home. My mom went instead because it caused because it all caused me to have a panic attack, and she was pissed at anyone that did that, especially someone she grew up with. Turns out the lady was drunk off her ass and was very short on money and didn't want to pay, and was aggressive to my mom too. I very much have a bad reaction to cameras in private spaces now, and I house sit for people with them now, but I told them my past just to avoid spending too much time where the cameras are, and they are obvious. I don't know for sure if that lady had actually cameras in her house. She probably didn't. But it scared me badly, and I'm very nervous about cameras in places now. Typically check for them now when house sitting for someone new. That's bad enough. I probably wouldn't just wouldn't house sit again. But this story and the OP story, where people were being filmed many times over years and as minors against their knowledge, that would be horrifying. Cannot imagine how it would feel later to find out that was happening for years, and even worse if the videos were put on porn sites. So wanging, disgusting, and deeply creepy. Yes, 100%. We need Made Me Smile now. And it's entitled He May Be Old, but he still loves to dig a hole on the beach. And we have this sweet little old star here. Is it? There it goes. Nope, forgot to do that. He's just digging his little hole. He probably hot and wants someplace to cool to sleep. Poor guy. Poor old guy. All right, that's all I have for today, my biddies. I love you all. Have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Sorry, I'm not getting into Sister Wives while the Olympics is on. Not at least until the figure skating is over. All right. Bye. Thank you for watching. Bye. Love you. Bye. Bye.